It began as an experiment. Ethan, a 32-year-old freelance writer, had grown tired of city noise, social obligations, and the constant buzzing of his phone. He rented a small cabin deep in the woods of northern Maine, a place without neighbors, without Wi-Fi, without even reliable cell service. He wanted silence. He wanted peace. What he found was horror. The first week passed quietly. Ethan spent his days chopping wood, cooking simple meals, and writing pages of his new novel. At night, the cabin creaked in the wind, but he felt safe in his isolation. For the first time in years, he could hear his own thoughts. By week 2, the silence started pressing down on him. He caught himself speaking aloud just to fill the air. Sometimes, he thought he heard faint footsteps outside, but when he opened the door, only snow and darkness stared back. He laughed it off. "City paranoia," he muttered. Then came week 3. That's when things began to break. He found himself waking at 3:15 every night, without fail, to a sound he couldn't explain. Not an animal, not the wind. It was a low humming, like a voice murmuring through the walls. He searched the cabin top to bottom, but there was nothing. Just empty rooms and silence thick enough to choke him. Ethan started keeping his lights on at night. Shadows stretched strangely across the walls, sometimes forming shapes that looked too much like people. Once, he swore he saw a figure standing at the end of his bed, but when he blinked, it was gone. By week 4, Ethan was unraveling. He wrote less and stared more. His journal entries shifted from neat sentences to frantic scribbles. "I am not alone here. Something is watching. The cabin is breathing." When he finally dared to look at himself in the mirror, he barely recognized the man staring back. His skin was pale, his eyes sunken, and there was something else, something wrong. For a split second, his reflection smiled when he hadn't. He smelled trapped. On the 42nd day, Ethan stopped writing altogether. He sat in the corner with the lamp burning low, whispering to himself. Or perhaps whispering to someone else. He wasn't sure anymore. The humming wasn't outside now. It was inside his head. "Open the floor," it told him. "Let us out." His hands bled as he tore up the wooden boards with a hatchet. Splinters flew as he pried deeper and deeper into the foundation. The smell hit him first. Rot, damp earth, something older than the cabin itself. And then, he saw them. Not bodies, not animals, but shapes. Twisted, blackened shapes curled into the dirt, like things that had never been fully human. Their mouths were open, frozen mid-scream, as if they had been buried alive beneath the cabin, long before Ethan ever arrived. One of them moved. That was the last coherent thought Ethan ever recorded. His journal, discovered months later when search parties finally reached the cabin, ended with a single shaky line. "The real horror of isolation is that it doesn't stay empty for long." When rescuers entered, the cabin was in ruins. The floor was ripped apart, claw marks stained the walls, and the mirror shards were arranged in strange, deliberate patterns. Of Ethan, there was no trace, except for his voice, because the search team swore they heard something as they left that place. A low humming, a whisper leaking through the walls, and it was calling their names.